gals, I'm Elizabeth from Geek Girl Skates, and in this video what I'd like to do is kind of revisit the review video that I did in May of 2021 on the Bont Parkstar skates. I'll be honest, that was the very first YouTube video I'd ever done. I'd never made a review video before in my life, and I've never edited that much footage before. So there was definitely a lot for me to learn, but also it's been over a year since I first did that video, and there's been a continuous stream of tweaks that I've done to my skate park setup. And I just thought it would be useful to share that with you, and as well as what I've learned about these skates and how they perform. So before we get started, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with my future skate videos. Knowing that there's people out there that actually like this video and like the content I create really helps me, and it would help me to know that you want to see other videos like this one. I decided to upgrade to the Bont Parkstar skates. I had been skating at the skate park in a pair of Moxie Lolly skates, which were great, but they offer very little in the way of ankle support. I also had the standard thrust plate, which doesn't have a locking toe stop. And I know loads of people out there skate at the skate park in these, the Moxie Lolly skates, but I was looking for something with more ankle support. I'd had a leg break a few years ago, and when I was learning a lot of impact heavy tricks, it meant that I had a really sore and achy ankle the next day. So I wanted something that offered more stability. And when Bont came out with their fun colors in the pink and teal, I knew I had to have a pair of these because they're so cute. So just a little overview about this skate. So they have an all leather boot. They have these rubber toe bumpers at the front. They come with wax laces. I've changed these to a different color, but they are the Bont laces. They've got a ankle strap here. They've got a nice little loop at the back. I had gotten one of the package deals from Bont, which came with the metal tracer plate. It has a 20-degree kingpin, which is a nice balance between the super stable 10 and 15-degree kingpins and the very agile, more 45-degree angle kingpins. I've kept the Bont toe stop because they're actually really good. Package came with the Bont Parkflow wheels. I've changed them out here, and we'll talk about that later as well. And I'd upgraded to the ABEX 7 bearings. So overall, it's a really nice, really solid boot. I have put it through its paces over the last year and a half. It was the pandemic, and I was going skating sometimes for, between 3 and 9 hours a week. I mean, I was doing a lot of skating last year, and I think overall these skates have held up really well. So over the last year, I've had a lot of questions. Well, one of them is about the sizing. So Bont have their own sizing system. If at all possible, I really recommend you go to a skate shop and actually get fitted for these skates in person. I think nothing can replace that. Your second best option is to find a skater that is near to you or in your skate community, and if it's in your size, ask to try them on and see what you think. For me, what I did was I literally just went on Bont's website, found their sizing instructions, measured my feet, put the numbers in, and it gave me a size. For me, this worked, but if you have odd-shaped feet or odd-sized feet, please do and go get yourself fitted. I think it will really save you a lot of hassle and returns in the long run. If you can't do that, then just be aware that you might have to send them back if they're not the right size for you. But overall, I think the fit is great. I had tried on a pair of Bonts when I was looking to get one of my first roller derby skates, and they were definitely not for me, and there was too much room. But for the park skates, I don't know if it's because it's made with a heavier leather, but I actually find them so comfortable and they're so roomy, but my foot doesn't move around. Again, this has been a great experience for me, but depending on your feet and how you like to feel in your skates, this might not be the right thing for you. The other thing I get asked about a lot is what it's like to skate in a flat boot. And the Bont Parkstars actually aren't flat. They look like it from the outside, but there is a little heel on the inside of the boot. So it's not completely flat, but it's also not as tall as some of the heeled skates like the Moxie Lolly or the Moxie Jack or Panther, and those types. So it's not flat, it just looks like it. When I made my initial review, I was trying really hard not to make any alterations to, how the skate came straight from the factory. But after I'd done that review, I had started to make a few changes, just to tweak the setup and to, try and see if I can, customize it a bit more to suit how I like to skate. One of the first things I decided to change was the cushions that it came with. So if you're not familiar with the anatomy of the skate, your cushion or bushings sit on your kingpin with your trucks, and it gives you a little bit of side-to-side bounce and cushion. They come in different hardnesses, usually a soft, a medium, and a very hard. Just affects the amount of side-to-side movement you get in your trucks. Bont's cushions are good, but because I'd come from a roller derby background, where I like to have a lot of maneuverability on the track, I like to be able to get from one side to the other quite quickly, and I wanted a really responsive skate in that sense. But I actually started to learn that I don't really want that when I'm skating at the skate park. I much rather have a super stable skate and to know that I'm not just going to veer off in different directions. It just makes it a bit easier to maintain that back and forth on the half pipe when I want to. So at first I tried tightening the original Bont cushions, and I actually found that they started to distort if you tighten them too much, so that's not good. And I swapped those out for some cloud bushings that I had ordered. I felt like I was still getting a bit too much play in my trucks. What I ended up getting was a set of cushions made by Bones, so same people that make Bones bearings. And they again come in a variety of hardnesses. I actually went for the hardest one. They're actually a bit smaller than your standard cushions, and they're meant for skateboards, but I actually found that they worked great in these skates, and I've really liked skating with them. I felt I should also mention about the bearings that come with the Bont Parkstar package. So if you order the standard package, they used to come with the ABEC 5s. At the time, it gave me an option to upgrade to the ABEC 7 bearings, and these are all made by Bont. I was really disappointed to find out that the Bont bearings cannot be cleaned, and this is partly due to my own fault for not researching into the Bont bearings, but I feel like if you're paying an upgrade that they should be cleanable, or you should at least be able to do some sort of maintenance on them. I know bearings aren't going to last forever, but I do want to be able to extend the life of them a little bit. And when I went on the Bont website and saw that they are £36, which I guess is half the price of another good brand that you can clean, at the same time, I felt like that's just £36 for something you're probably going to have to throw away in a few months' time. I really did not think it was worth it at all, although they did roll very nice to begin with. When I initially started putting this review together and, getting my thoughts together about it, I thought it was mainly going to be the cushions and the bearings that I was going to be talking about. But it wasn't long after that I started to get really sore feet. And this wasn't really something that I was expecting, and a friend of mine had mentioned that they had swapped out their insoles, and I happened to look at the insoles that came with my Bonts, and they are so thin. They're really, really thin. And this isn't Bont's fault or anything. The insoles that come with most skates are this thin, so I wasn't too surprised because I have had to change my insoles in my roller derby skates. But what I've ended up going with is these footprint insoles. These are really nice. You can find out all sorts of information on their website, stuff to do with NASA and space stuff. But I've really enjoyed skating with these in my skates. I think they're mainly aimed at skateboarders and minimizing the high impact and from their tricks, but these work fantastic in roller skates. Highly recommend. And one of the other things I ended up doing, and I didn't realize I was going to do this at first, is the Bont Park Flow wheels that the package comes with, they are rated at a 99A durometer, which is quite a hard wheel. But I ended up swapping these wheels for my CIB wheels, and they are a 98A. So they're the same diameter and same width, and even pretty much the same durometer. I just feel they skate really differently, and I much prefer my CIB wheels. One of the differences that they do have is that the profile is very different on the two wheels. So on the inside edge of the Bont Parkflow wheel, it is flat, whereas on the CIB wheel, it is curved. And although they're the same overall width, the CIB wheel actually has a smaller contact patch area with the ground. I believe this probably has something to do with reducing drag and friction, but I just felt like I get a lot more speed, a lot easier with my CIB wheels than I do with the Bont Parkflow wheel. Although this isn't a bad wheel, and I think if you're a beginner, you'll probably certainly feel that this is a very hard wheel compared to a lot of other popular beginner wheels for the skate park. But overall, I think just in terms of my own preference, I preferred the CIB wheels. So the last change that I ended up making was I did end up installing the DiscoTrux. So this is a much wider truck, and one of the things it does for you is it gives you better stability, especially if you're skating on really tall ramps, and it also really helps with getting 50-50 stalls and grinds. Although they're not necessary, they do help. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail about the DiscoTrux in this review, but let me know in the comments if that's something you want to hear more about, and I can certainly think about putting together a review on them. So those are the main changes that I ended up making on these skates. I mean, obviously little things like I had to replace the laces because the other ones were looking really dirty, but overall, like the boot is still really comfortable. And I still feel like I've got a decent amount of ankle support, although I think the leather has started to wear in a bit. It's not quite as rigid as it was when they were brand new, but it has been a year and a half, and they're pretty well broken in. Overall, it's been a really nice skate setup to use. But that's not to say I haven't had any issues with these skates. And I should preface this section by just reminding you that I was skating so much last year and earlier this year because of the pandemic, and I've really put these skates through their paces. But some of the issues that I've had, so on my left skate, I pretty much wrecked the left toe bumper here. It's not in good shape at all. I was skating, I'm pretty sure I was skating on some really rough concrete and I must have fallen or dragged my foot. But anyways, it's chewed up this bumper. I've even taken out a chunk of the leather, so that's not great. But I'm looking at replacing the toe bumper. You can buy them off the Bont website. And I have ordered a set, I'm just waiting for them to arrive. But I should mention that you cannot purchase this teal color. I have asked, it's not available. There are some pretty colors available on the website, just not this exact teal color. But let me know in the comments below if you want to see a video of me attempting to replace them, and we'll see what happens. But so that's something that I do need to do. The other kind of major issue that came up is that the Velcro that I was so excited about, it helps to keep the tongue on the boot in place. But right after I finished filming my initial review, it started to fall off, and then it completely detached. And the other skate did that as well. So it's not essential. And by the point they had fallen off, I had pretty much worn the skates in, so the tongue wasn't going to go anywhere anyways, because it was pretty much molded to my foot. I was just disappointed that it didn't last a little bit longer. And as you can see here, the ankle strap of my left boot has very much fallen apart. This started out as a gradual failure, and then got progressively worse. And if I'm going to fall on a trick, I'm going to fall on my left side, that's why the left boot here is not in very good shape. Yeah, so I've looked on the Bont website, I've even tried contacting them. You can't buy replacement ankle straps for these. I thought you could, but when you look on their website, it's only for the black and white ones, which I think are for their derby skates. You cannot purchase replacement suede ankle straps. So that's a bit of disappointment. So yes, while there have been some issues with this skate, I think they're very minor, mostly cosmetic, and really they have sustained me through a year and a half of very heavy skating, and I've learned so much from them, and they've definitely got me through the pandemic. I didn't think I was going to be changing my skate setup so drastically anytime soon, but there were a few things that I wanted to try out, so it kind of necessitated a new skate setup. So I'm currently mainly skating on some Wifas or Wifas, not sure how to pronounce it. And I'm not going to go into detail about that here, but if that's something you want to see in another video, just let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. So really I've really enjoyed these Parkstar skates, and they've really helped to boost my confidence. I really enjoyed skating in them. I think overall they're a great skate, and I think the package deal gets you a really good setup for the money, and I think the leather boot especially is so worth it, because it's going to last you a long time, especially if you look after them. I hope this updated review helps you out, especially if you're a beginner looking at buying your first pair of roller skates, or if you're looking to make that first upgrade. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with my future skate videos. That's all for now, and keep roller skating!